Hey everyone, how are you guys doing? So it's morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, and I am getting ready for the day. I thought I would bring you guys along with me and just kind of go throughout the day and show you what I do this morning before I go into work. All right, let's go. So, everyone, as I was getting ready, I opened up my cabinet in my bathroom and saw that my child has thrown all my towels, just a mess, in my cabinet. It was nice of him to try to put everything away for me the other night, but just throwing it all in is not how I do things. So I decided I was going to roll up all the towels and fix the cabinet all up, since I had a few minutes to just sit here and roll everything up and put it nice and neat back into the basket. And as I was rolling these towels up, I was just kind of thinking about what I needed to get done for today and kind of saying a prayer to myself. So I got the towels all rolled up nice and neat here and got my bed made this morning. You guys, I normally do not make my bed, so I'm really, really proud of myself. And it really felt really good to get this stuff done this morning, having some time to myself. I'm just feeling so very blessed, and I'm excited for homemaking as a Proverbs 31 wife. Alright guys, I'm in my room. I have gotten ready for the day for the most part. I still haven't put on any foundation or any makeup really. Did my eyeshadow and my lipstick, but I need to finish doing that before I go into work today. But I thought I would just kind of show you a little bit of how I got ready in the morning. And I made my bed, and you guys, I never make my bed. So that makes me feel really good to start off the new year, getting ready for work and making my bed. So I'm going to try to implement that a little bit more into my routine in the mornings. And you guys, my room is still a little bit of a mess, but not too bad. So I'll show you. So I'll show you what I got going on here. My bed is made, as you can see right there. And then I have this bag right here of socks I need to go through. And I've got my calendar over here and my heater in my room, my TV. And then this is my reselling boxes that I'm filling up. And I have stuff I need to put in these boxes once they're listed today. So looky there. I'm getting something done. Looky there. That is so cool. You guys, I want to really say how much of I'm just feeling so very blessed, you guys, throughout 2023. And now that it's 2024, I'm just so super excited to see what God's going to do in my life. And my mom had given me this book by Max Lucado, which I absolutely love Max Lucado. But it's When Christ Comes. And she wanted me to read a chapter she has marked in here. So I'm going to read that this morning, and then I'm going to turn this camera back on, and I'm going to kind of tell you what I think about it. All right. Darn it, Mom. This is such a good chapter in this book, and I want to thank my mom for giving this to me. It's inspired me this morning, so I want to read a little bit of it to you. I can't read this whole thing because this video will be very long if I do, and I want to read the whole thing, but she just had this one chapter in this book that she wanted me to read, and so this is the book she's been reading, and I'm going to read some of this to you to help encourage you guys this morning. The first Bible verse on this book talks about Satan, who tricked them, God's people, was thrown into the lake of the burning sulfur with the beast and the false prophet. There they will be punished day and night forever and ever. Revelation 20:10. So we know who's going to win, right? It says right there, Revelation 20:10. God's going to win and throw Satan and the beast and the false prophet into the lake of fire. So the story starts off about Max Lucado being in a boys' choir and in school doing a production of The Wizard of Oz, and how he, as a child, did not know anything about the movie, did not know that there was a witch, did not know that there was a story to the movie. All he knew was he was a munchkin and he was singing, and he was going to have one line as the munchkin in the play. And so he thought he was the show. He thought he was the big deal. And then once the show began, he realized that there were other parts that all came together. And at the end, he realized that there was more than just him. That was part of the story, part of the movie and the play. And so I thought that was kind of interesting to help you, encourage you that, you know, it's not always about you. And, you know, you may be going through the story. You may be going through your journey, but, you know, you'll find out at the end that there's this whole orchestrated program going on of life. And when you are going through your struggles and your story, you will soon realize that it's not about what's happening to you in that time that you are going through of struggles and trials. You are a big deal. You are important to God as far as telling the story and sharing your journey and being a part of what is happening in your life. Don't think that God doesn't love you. Don't think that you're not part of it. But there's a bigger plan here that God has for you. He says, by the way, we can make the same mistake in life that I made on stage. If we aren't acquainted with the end of the script, we can grow fearful in the play. And that's why it's wise to ponder the last act. You know, what is God's story for you? And then he goes on and he talks about the presence of Satan is the one who some people fear the return of Christ. Understandably so. Terms such as Armageddon, lake of fire, and the scarlet beast are enough to unnerve the strongest heart. And certainly those who do not know God have reason to be anxious. But those dressed in Christ know They're not anxious. You know, that was one of the questions in my trial was, are you anxious? Because you're saying you're anxious for God's return. No, I'm excited. I'm not anxious. Because I know who wins. I know who wins the lies and the cheating and the stealing and the wrongdoings of others. I know who wins. I know who the ultimate judge is. So no, I am not anxious. I am excited for Jesus Christ's return. I am not fearful. They need only to read the manuscript's final reference to the devil, Satan, who tricked them, God's people, the beast and the false prophet. There will be punishment day and night forever and ever. Revelation 20:10. God hasn't kept the ending a secret. He wants us to see the big picture. He wants us to know that he wins. And he will also want us to know that the evil we witness in the stage of life is not as mighty as we might think. So if you are living a life of sin, if you are not repentive, and you don't turn from your wicked ways, and you're not following Christ, especially those who claim to be Christians, who say they're Christians, but yet they're living in sin, and they are not following Christ on a daily basis, there is going to be punishment. There is an end script to life. And at some point, if you don't turn from your wicked ways and you don't, repent and start living that Christ-filled life that God has commanded us to live, there will be judgment. There are going to be people left behind. And that's a scary thought. That is fearful. I fear the wrath of God. I fear the judgment of those that I love in my life, those who have tried to hurt me. I fear those that are lying. I fear those that are cheating, those that are selfish and lawless, not following laws and not following God's commandment of laws. And I fear for what is coming for those people who are left behind in my life. I have made videos here. I am trying to set up messages and post-it notes and books to read and food left behind to help those who are left behind if the rapture would have been of the church and the bride of Christ. I don't plan on being here for that. And I know that it's coming very, very soon. And Max Lucado will talk about it in this book right here. He starts talking about Jesus turns to Simon Peter and makes this intriguing statement. Simon, Simon, Satan has asked to test all of you as a farmer sifts his wheat. We are the wheat. I have prayed that you will not lose your faith. Help your brothers be stronger when you come back to me. Luke 22:31 through 32. This passage gives us a glimpse into the unseen world. It raises many questions, but it also affords many assurances, the chief of which is the chain of command. God clearly is in control, and the devil is on a short leash. Did you notice the word that followed Satan's name? Satan has asked. So Satan has to ask God for permission to attack one of God's people and one of God's children. I never really thought about that. God's the one in control. The claim of command is clear. Satan does nothing outside of God's dominion and domain, and God uses Satan to advance the cause of his kingdom. So if you're going through a trial, a divorce, that's what this channel is about. If you're going through struggles, if you're going through the lies and the cheating and the stealing from you, and You know, there's people out there who just think that they know what they're talking about, and they have no clue. They have no clue. And they believe the lies. They believe the deception of Satan, and they believe that they're in right standing with God. And I will tell you, according to God's word, those people who are living a life of sin, they are not right with God. It's very, very clear who is in control. It's very, very clear that we all have free choice. And, you know, who are you going to serve? Who are you going to serve in your life? So it goes on here, and it talks about a story of a woman who was working late shift. She was trying to make it on her own, paying her college bills as she finished school. A young lady who was a devout believer. But her belief was tested one night when two men held a gun to her head and forced her into her truck. She was then robbed, repeatedly raped, and left handcuffed to a tree. It was 2 o'clock in the morning before she was rescued. She was persecuted. God never said there would not be persecution of the believers. So if you're going through trials like I have in 2023, and you're dealing with Satan and the lies of Satan, then be prepared. Be prepared. The nightmare clearly destroyed her. She couldn't function. The hotel fired her, and she dropped out of school. In her words, she was shattered, lost, and bewildered. This is one of the pieces that doesn't fit the puzzle. How can this happen to her? The tragedy. How did it take place in God's plan? In time, Julie learned the answer to the questions. Listen to her words. After this experience, I spent a great deal of time thinking about God. I searched, I prayed for understanding. I longed to be healed. My spirit and my faith were tested. My spiritual journey in the months that followed was painful, but also wonderful. God allowed me to profit from the awful and devastating event. So many good things are now in my life. I have wonderful friends, most of whom I never have met or would have known if it wasn't for this experience. I have a job that allows me to work with and serve crime victims. I have a deep relationship with God. I am spiritually wiser and more mature. I have been blessed beyond what I can tell in these pages. I am very grateful. Romans 8:28. Come alive in my life. All things work together for good for those who love God and who are called according to his purpose. Now, I ask you, who won? You know, she has a ministry now speaking about God's mercy and healing. And, you know, it says, think about that. Next time that evil flaunts its escape and races across your stage in your life, like I had to go through in 2023, remember the final act has already been scripted. The day Christ comes will end that evil. And he's coming very, very soon, you guys. Very, very soon. Jesus is praying for us. He intercedes for us. And Satan has to ask God, can I test this person? Just like he did with Job. He said, can I test Job? You know, he has to ask. And God says, yeah, go ahead. Test that person of faith. And I think that that's what I have gone through in 2023. You know, the sum of the matter is simple. Jesus has spoken and Satan has listened. The devil may land a punch or two, and he may even win a few rounds. But he never wins the fight. Why? Because Jesus takes up for you. You'll love the way this truth appears in Hebrews. But because Jesus lives forever, he will never stop serving as priest. So he is able always to save those who come to God through him, because he always lives, asking God to help them. So you have to ask God to help you through your trials. Hebrews 7:24 through 25. So here's how the read translates. He always lives to intercede for them. He always is a living to plead on their behalf. So God pleads on your behalf. He's always on the job, and he speaks up for them. So there is a big plan. There is an end script. The Spirit himself speaks to God for us and even begs God for us. Romans 8:26. And then in verse 34, the one who died for us, who raised to life for us, is in the presence of God at the very moment sticking up for us. Jesus at this very moment is protecting you. You may feel like a munchkin on the stage with a wicked witch, but don't worry. Evil must pass through Christ before it can touch us. And God will never, never let you be punished past your limit. He will always be there to help you come through it. 1 Colossians 10:13. The Lord knows how to rescue godly men from trials. 2 Peter 2:9. And he will rescue you. He will rescue us all on the day that Jesus Christ comes. He will prevail. When you come back to me are the words Jesus uses with Peter, not if you come back to me or at the possibility that you come back. It's when you do come back to me. Jesus has absolutely no insecurity, and neither should we. What Jesus did with Peter is what I wish someone would have done with me, the munchkin. And that is, tell him the story. Read the end script to him so he would know how the play ends. He knows who's involved. He knows the setting of the stage. He knows the story, the plot, and the ending. God has kept no secrets. He has told us that. It's in Revelation. We know the end from the beginning. And in this world you will have tribulation. Jesus promises, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. John 16:33. God is the end. Says, I am the Alpha, the Omega, the beginning and the end. And I can tell you guys, through my journey through 2023, actually since my ex-husband had filed for divorce, I didn't want the divorce. There was no reason for the divorce. There was no biblical reason. There's a falling away from Jesus Christ. But with me, my divorce has brought me closer to my relationship with Jesus Christ. I can now proudly proclaim his name in my life, the blessings he has given to me. And in 2024, that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I am going to shout Jesus in my life. And I'm going to show you guys what he's doing through my struggles, through my divorce. A divorce of separating a family. A divorce of separating from God. You know, I think my ex-spouse filed for the divorce because he thought he was separating from me. And I think it was because of my faith. He didn't like that I was a Christian, and I was a strong Christian. In my divorce trial, it became very obvious to me that there's a spiritual warfare going on in my marriage. My divorce was protection for me and my children. My divorce was an event in my life that happened to make me stronger, to keep me safe and protected of whatever's coming, and make me stronger as a Christian in my faith. And I knew that as soon as my spouse divorced me. I knew it because there was no reason for it. There was no violence in our marriage. There was sin that my spouse brought into our marriage 10 years ago. 10 years ago, you guys. It was my faith that kept me in my marriage. And I would have never filed for divorce. And it's my relationship with Jesus Christ who gives me the understanding that otherwise I wouldn't understand the story. I wouldn't understand the plot. But I do know who wins. I do know the ending. And Jesus Christ is with me until the very end. And he is with you till the very end. And we're going to move on. We're moving on this journey. And we're going to do what's right. I'm going to do what's right. I'm going to follow Jesus Christ. Even though my divorce was wrong, even though my trials were wrong, even though there is Satan that is lying and being deceitful, I'm not going to believe that lie. I'm not. I want to believe the truth of Jesus Christ. So thank you guys so much for watching. This is going to be a long video. So I'm going to end it here, and good morning. And I'll make another video, part 2 of what I do, on a daily basis throughout the year. So enjoy the 2024 journey. Bye.